What's up, operators? This is Reps4Thor Weekly, episode 5. I didn't get a topic request this week, so I'm choosing one that quietly decides whether your digital life is smooth or a slow-motion house fire. Your home network. Your Wi-Fi. The little plastic router box that most people set up once, name Netgear_5G. And then never think about again until something breaks and they start bargaining with the universe. Today I'm going to give you a plain English walkthrough of how home networks actually work, what the real risks are for normal people, and a practical 1-hour hardening routine you can do without being a network engineer. No tinfoil hat, no complex lab setup, and no download this sketchy tool from a forum post. Just clean habits that reduce your risk and improve your stability. Here's the big idea. Most cyber problems at home aren't Hollywood hacking. They're your network being a shared driveway with no gate. It's old firmware, weak passwords, unsecured remote access, and a zoo of smart devices that behave like toddlers with scissors. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is reducing easy entry points and making your home network boring to attack. Let's start with the simplest mental model. Your home internet is basically 3 layers. The modem, which connects your home to your internet provider. The router, which is the brain that decides where traffic goes and who is allowed on the network. And the Wi-Fi access point, which is the radio that lets devices connect without wires. Sometimes those are all separate boxes. Sometimes they're all in one gateway from your provider. Either way, if you remember one thing, it's this. The router is the security boundary. The router is the bouncer. The router is the thing you should treat like the front door lock to your house. Now, what do attackers actually want from your home network? Usually one of 4 things. They want your passwords and accounts by tricking your devices. They want to hijack your network connection for spam, fraud, or illegal activity. And they want to recruit your devices into a botnet, or they want to pivot from your home network into something valuable like your work laptop, your personal files, or your smart home controls. The good news is that most of these outcomes become much harder if you do a handful of basics well, and most people don't, which is why doing the basics makes you a hard target without needing to become a wizard. Okay. First item. Router login credentials. If you've never logged into your router's admin panel, this is your moment. Not because you need to obsess, because you need to confirm you're not still using the default admin password. The default admin password is the keys under the doormat of networking. It's not a rumor. It's not theoretical. It's literally what automated scans try first. So here's your rule. Your router's admin login must be a strong, unique password that you do not reuse anywhere else. If your router supports it, enable multi-factor. Many don't, but if yours does, do it. If it doesn't, strong, unique password is non-negotiable. Second item, firmware updates. I know, updates are annoying, but router firmware updates matter more than people realize because routers are the thing that faces the internet. They're the wall. If the wall has a hole, everything behind it becomes eventually accessible. So check for firmware updates at least quarterly. Monthly if you're feeling disciplined. If your router is so old it doesn't get updates anymore, that's not vintage. That's unpatched. Replace it. You don't need the most expensive model on earth. You need one that's actively supported. Third item, remote administration. This is one of the biggest silent foot guns. Many routers have a feature that allows you to log into the router admin panel from outside your home network, from the internet. This is convenient, and it's also a great way to accidentally expose your router admin interface to the world. So here's your simple rule. If you don't 100% need remote administration, disable it. Most people do not need it. If you do need it, it should be protected properly, ideally behind a secure VPN solution, not an exposed login from anywhere feature. Fourth item, Wi-Fi encryption and password. You want WPA3 if your devices support it. If not, WPA2 with AES. Do not use WEP. If you are still using WEP, please stop listening to my podcast and immediately go fix that, because that's like locking your door with a cracker. Also, your Wi-Fi password should be strong, not your address, not Go Dogs, not the name of your dog plus 123. Use a long phrase, something you can type but nobody can guess. Woo! A good trick is 4 or 5 random words plus a number, like Cactus River Piano Storm 47, not that exact one. Don't use mine. You get the idea. Now, a quick note about your network name, your SSID. Don't name your Wi-Fi something that leaks who you are. If your Wi-Fi is William Sperlin Home or Apartment 4B_Smith Family, you're basically putting a name tag on your front gate. Keep it neutral. Funny is fine. Identifying is not ideal. Okay? 5th item. Guest network. This is the most underrated security feature in the average home. Your home network should not be one big happy family where your work laptop, your phone, your smart TV, your kid's tablet, and your smart toaster all share one flat network with equal trust. Because your smart toaster has the security posture of a raccoon. So enable a guest network and use it for anything you don't fully trust. Visitors' phones go on guests. Smart TVs go on guests. Smart home devices often belong on guests. Anything IoT, anything it has an app, anything made by a company you've never heard of, anything that gets firmware updates once a decade, that stuff goes on guest. The goal is segmentation. If a sketchy device gets compromised, it doesn't automatically have a direct path to your primary devices. If your router supports it, you can take it one step further and make 2 networks. A main network for your trusted devices and an IoT network for smart home stuff, plus guest for visitors. But even just turning on guest is a massive improvement. 6th item. Turn off features you don't need. Most home routers come with bonus features that sound nice and are sometimes risky. UPnP is the classic example. UPnP can automatically open ports through your router for devices and apps. It exists to make things like gaming and media devices just work. And it can also allow devices to punch holes in your firewall without you realizing it. My general recommendation is to disable UPnP unless you specifically need it and understand why. If you're a heavy gamer and turning it off breaks something, you can selectively handle ports manually or enable it temporarily. The key is that you choose not the router, not the random device, you. Also, if your router has WPS, that push button easy connect feature, consider disabling it. Convenience features have a way of being abused. 7th item. DNS and safe browsing expectations. A lot of people think antivirus is the main safety layer, but in real life, a big portion of malicious behavior starts with someone clicking a bad link and landing on a bad domain. One practical defense is using a reputable DNS resolver that blocks known malicious domains. Some routers let you set this at the router level, so every device benefits. This doesn't make you invincible. It just blocks a chunk of known garbage. If you have kids in the house, DNS filtering can also help with basic content safety, but that's a parenting decision, not a tech flex. 8th item. The work device rule. If you have a work laptop, treat it as a separate class of device. Keep it updated. Don't install random stuff. Don't let the whole family use it. If your employer provides a VPN or security tools, use them. The work laptop often has access to systems that are far more valuable than your Netflix account, and attackers know it. Now, let's talk about the real enemy of home networks. It's not hackers, it's clutter. People add devices and never remove them. Old phones, old tablets, old smart plugs, random Wi-Fi cameras. That printer from 2014 that still shows up as HP something in your device list. So here's the practical cleanup exercise. Log into your router and look at the list of connected devices. Make sure you recognize what's online. If you see something you don't recognize, don't panic. First, check if it's something obvious with a weird name like a smart TV or a streaming stick. If you genuinely can't identify it, change your Wi-Fi password and reboot the router. That will kick everything off and force devices to reconnect. Then reconnect your known devices and see what comes back. If the mystery device returns, now you have a real reason to dig deeper. And while we're here, let's address the "my Wi-Fi is slow" problem, because security and performance are married whether we like it or not. A slow network often isn't a hacker. It's placement, interference, and overloaded channels. Keep your router somewhere open, not inside a metal cabinet, not behind your TV, not in the basement behind a water heater like it's being punished. If you have a bigger house, mesh Wi-Fi can help, but only if it's placed well. Also, rebooting once in a while is not shameful. It's basically giving your network a nap. Now I want to talk about the one thing people do that scares me more than 1,000 hacking headlines. Exposing stuff to the internet because an app told them to. Home security cameras are the big one. People buy a camera, the app says, enable remote viewing, and suddenly the camera is accessible from anywhere. Sometimes that's done safely through the vendor's cloud. Sometimes it's done poorly. Sometimes people go a step further and port forward the camera interface directly to the internet. That is the open window at ground level with a neon sign of home networking. So here's the rule. Do not port forward random devices unless you are completely sure what you're doing, and even then, limit it. If you need remote access, use vendor-approved methods or a properly configured VPN. If you don't know, assume you don't need it. The number of people who accidentally expose a camera or NAS to the internet and then get owned is way too high. Okay? Let's condense this into the 1-hour hardening plan. If you do nothing else this week, do this. Change the router admin password to something strong and unique. Update router firmware. Disable remote administration unless you truly need it. Set Wi-Fi to WPA3 if available, otherwise WPA2 AES, and use a strong Wi-Fi password. Enable a guest network and move IoT devices and visitors to it. Disable UPnP and WPS unless you have a specific reason to keep them. Audit connected devices and kick anything unknown. That's it. That list will put you ahead of the majority of households. Now I can hear the advanced folks saying, what about VLANs, firewalls, intrusion detection, and a rack in the closet? Yes, those are awesome. If you want that, you can build it. And I'll happily do an episode on advanced home lab setups, but I'm optimizing for the real world. The real world is a person with a job, a family, and a router that's been blinking since 2019. So here's the weekly challenge. 1 hour, set a timer. Log into your router and do the checklist. Take a screenshot or write down what you changed. Then write one sentence in your notes that says, my network is now less dumb. Because it is. In future, you will appreciate it the next time there's a vulnerability wave and everyone else is Googling how to update router firmware like it's ancient magic. All right, operators. Home network security is not glamorous. There's no cinematic hacking montage. It's mostly passwords, updates, and turning off stuff you don't need. But it's one of the highest leverage improvements you can make because it protects everything behind it. You don't need to be paranoid. You need to be intentional. This is Reps for Thor. End transmission.